Some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
These guys are just weird. That's who they are.
As weird and creepy as J.D. Vance.
Super weird idea from J.D. Vance.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's quite weird. They're just plain weird.
Just plain weird.
Just plain weird.
That stuff is weird. They come across weird, and then they start being weird. Yeah, they're weird.
Being a really weird.
He's such a weirdo.
Donald Trump and his weirdo running mate are weird. Deeply and profoundly weird.
They are weird.
These Republicans just being weird, it's just weird. It's really weird.
Republican weirdness goes even deeper.
He said a lot of things that are weird, a weird style that he brings, weird policies. Let's start with the weird thing, because it is a thing.
Just plain weird.
What was weird was talking about Diet Mountain Dew. Who drinks Diet Mountain Dew?
You ever seen the guy laugh? That seems very weird to me that an adult can go through 6.5 years of being in the public eye. If he has laughed, it's at someone, not with someone. That is weird behavior.
Weird and cultish.
These are weird people on the other side.
He kind of doubled down on his weird ideas.
All right, guys, so I'm still in disbelief that some Democrat strategist that probably gets paid at least a few $100,000, if not millions of dollars, to tell Democrats how to win actually thought that it would be a good idea to attack Trump, Republicans, conservatives by saying that they're weird, okay? The Democrat Party, okay, the party of weirdos and freaks are trying to label Republicans weird. And I just have to remind you guys why this is probably one of the most ironic lines of attack from the Kamala Harris campaign that you could possibly imagine.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Some of the descriptions of why they're there, but first we want to bring in our panel. Dana Perino is...
Some of the descriptions of why they're there, but first we want to bring in our panel. Dana Perino is... Oh, we're doing this. That's a joke, that's right. That's a full-service presidential candidate. Yeah.
Stand right next to me. There you go. And then we're going to have...
There you
He knows it. Do you know what my dad used to say? His granddaughters have one important job.
Good evening, folks. My name is Charlotte Clymer. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a writer and activist, and I am so excited to be part of this historic gathering of women across the country.
I'm a childless Catwoman, but I'm happy. Bring laughter on.
You know? Say to Vance.
Yeah, what is your message to Vance?
Your freedom of expression of yourselves in drag is what America is all about. I say that all the time to my friends in drag.
Good to see you, Senator. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
How are you? And thank you, guys. And my pronouns are she, her, and hers.
She, her, and her? Mine, too.
Poor hubby. Poor hubby. No.
So we really want to base our treatment and to affirm and to support and empower these youth, not to limit their participation in activities and sports, and even limit their ability to get gender affirmation treatment in their state.
And developing on Capitol Hill, a U.S. Senate staffer who worked in Maryland Senator Ben Cardin's office is out of a job after video allegedly shows him having sex inside of a Judiciary Committee hearing room. Aiden May Siraj Ostrovsky reportedly recorded himself in the act.
Yeah. So again, I can't believe that this is the route that Democrats really want to go down. Okay. I said that the person who came up with that idea should be fired yesterday, but I actually changed my mind. That person should be given a promotion, right? This person should definitely give more advice to the Kamala Harris campaign on how to attack Republicans, because if they want to go down that road, we can go blow for blow. Although usually it is pretty difficult to go blow for blow with people like Kamala Harris and Hunter Biden. But with that being said, we got to talk about Republican CNN commentator Scott Jennings, who on a seemingly daily basis, at the very least at a weekly basis, he is schooling CNN and their ridiculous panels, mainly by pushing back against the propaganda that is constantly pushed on that network. And I got to tell you guys, it's very entertaining to see, okay, because Scott Jennings was confronted on the Democrats' line of attack, the Kamala attack, which really is a deflection from talking about the policies, of calling Trump and Republicans weird. And of course, Scott Jennings turned it back around on CNN and explained why Democrats are the ones that are actually weird.
Till now, they've been trying something completely different and completely unlike the Democratic Party, which is to just throw a word out there. And the word that they're throwing out there about Trump and JD Vance is weird. That's it. Weird. Listen to this.
Some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
These guys are just weird. That's who they are.
I mean, it's like weird what he does, right?
I mean, on the other side, they're just weird.
No matter what kind of weird stuff they keep saying.
What was weird was him joking about racism today and then talking about Diet Mountain Dew.
Okay, so they've got the talking point, Scott. They've got it. And then you chuckle, but it's the kind of word that if it sticks in people's minds can make whoever you're talking about look kind of silly and small. Are you worried about it?
No, because I think any Republican would say, I think the Democrats are weird. I mean, I think it's weird that Kamala Harris is in the process right now of trying to repudiate every single position she ever took when she ran for president. I think it's weird that they're currently engaged in massive racial segregation of all their supporters. I mean, you could go on and on and on about all the weird things that Kamala Harris is doing, all the weird things she's done. I think it's weird of these phrases she uses in her speeches all the time. So I don't think the campaign is going to be fought on who's more weird, who's seen as more weird. I think it's going to be fought on one thing, and it's going to be on who can do the best job as president. In the Wall Street Journal poll this week, Donald Trump had a 51% job approval. The Biden-Harris ticket is still down in the mid-30s. It's going to be fought on cost of living. It's going to be fought on immigration and who can make my life better. These semantics about weird and that's not the issue for swing voters. It's why is my life so expensive and why is my community unsafe and overrun with illegal immigration? That's it.
Congressman Rose, can I just ask you a question because Scott just brought something up important. The 51% approval rating for Trump. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really amazing for Trump. That is a really high approval rating. So just take everything else out of it. Sure. She surged in the polls, her approval rate. Do you see that as something Democrats should be concerned about?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why they're going to spend an exorbitant amount of resources actually reminding the American people about what life was like under Trump. The hysteria, the constant chaos, the utter incompetency. And look, he still has, an understandable bump from what happened several weeks ago, an understandable bump from officially becoming his party's nominee. That is all going to change. There is no question that the momentum is on the vice president's side right now, and no one sees that changing for quite some time.
These people apparently don't know how to actually read polls, right? Let me remind you guys, and I will continue to remind people, that Kamala Harris is not doing much better than she was before Joe Biden dropped out of the race. Again, more specifically, before the disastrous debate that Joe Biden had with Trump, okay? She's only gotten a 1-point boost from where she was at, and in a vast majority of polls, she is still losing to Trump, whether that be inside the margin of error or outside the margin of error. She is losing to Trump, okay? That's true at the national level. It's true at the state level. And the fact is that the media is trying to manufacture consent that, oh, Kamala's so competitive. Kamala's so great. She's so amazing. She's just going to beat Trump. They're trying to manufacture that into reality, okay? Because Democrats right now are high off hopium, okay? However, you eventually have to come down from your high eventually, okay? Unless you're Hunter Biden, then apparently you never come down, right? But eventually you have to come down and you'll realize that, hey, when you talk about policies, yeah, that's what's actually the weird part about what's going on here, because the Democrats or the mainstream media don't seem to be interested at all in talking about Kamala Harris's actual policies. They clearly are more interested in peddling these high school attacks from Democrats at Republicans more so than talking about, again, why is it that Kamala Harris should be president again? Okay. What about her policies that are pretty weird, in my opinion, should the American people know more about? Like, for example, she is an open borders extremist. Okay. She wants illegals to come into the country to give them free health care, to not punish them for breaking the law. She's soft on crime. Okay. She believes in progressive criminal justice reform. She wants to defund the police. She wants to abolish all private medical insurance. She believes in children being able to undergo sex change operations, regardless of if their parents agree with it. She also believes in children being exposed to explicit content, books in school. She also believes that biological boys should be able to compete against biological girls in sports. She also believes in abortion up until, and in some cases, after birth. These are all weird policy positions that the mainstream media doesn't seem to be interested in, even though they want to continue to have this weird conversation. And I think the weirdest part about what's going on here with what the Democrats are doing that the mainstream media doesn't want to address, but we know they would lose their mind over if Republicans were doing this, which is the racially segregated rallies that Democrats are having on Zoom calls that, again, you know, nobody's really calling out as racist or pushing segregation, except Scott Jennings, who on CNN brought up this point that triggered one of the Democrat propagandists on the panel.
Play the fact that in just the last week, we have seen Black women and Black men and LGBTQ people, the whole queer communities come out, Latinos, Native folks, and Two-Spirit folks, as well as white women answering the call. And tonight, right now, as we sit here, you've got white dudes for Kamala.
Can I ask a question?
So everyone is coming out in support of this candidate, and you win in America when you get all the people behind you, not just a small faction of them.
Quickly, Scott.
Can I? Yeah, I am mystified by the newfound Democrat obsession with racial segregation. I find all this racial segregation, I mean, I guess the party's getting back to its roots, but I find this crazy. I mean, that you are principally organizing all of your supporters by race and forcing them all to get on these calls, and you have to be a certain race or gender to get on the calls. I find this to be completely
Scott.
bizarre behavior.
And we don't need you to understand it, because here's the thing. We know that we win when we bring together people and have a big tent coalition.
But you're not.
Everybody
You're separating
who makes
them.
up
You're
America.
dividing them.
No, we're actually bringing them together. And
You're
by the
dividing
way,
them.
just look at the numbers. We don't need to debate this. Look at the cash and look at the support. Right? This momentum that you see in just 7 days is greater than any other presidential campaign in history. So say what you will, bringing people together who we can be proud of who we are, whether we're Black or queer or otherwise, is the winning strategy.
Yeah, so according to Democrat logic, segregating people by having racially and gender segregated rallies is bringing people together, right? That is bringing people together according to the Democrats. Okay, now here's the thing. I will say this about how that Democrat propagandist responded to Scott Jennings. And I think that Republicans need to take a page out of the Democrat Party playbook and consider how unapologetic she was for something that is, again, so blatantly racist, right? Something that, again, if Trump was having Zoom calls, rallies for white dudes only, again, they will be boohoo whining, crying about Jim Crow. See, this is proof that Trump wants to take us back to Jim Crow. And when Democrats get called out on what, in my opinion, is Jim Crow, like Scott Jennings said, they're getting back to their roots, right, of racial segregation, which, again, always seems to kind of come around on Democrats one way or the other, for a party that allegedly changed, right? They switched, right? This is what they say. But notice how unapologetic she was about it. Notice how she never admitted that it was wrong. She actually doubled and tripled down on it and said, yeah, I don't need you to understand it. But, you know, it's good for X, Y, and Z reasons. I don't have to explain myself, right? This is what we're doing, and that's it. That's how Republicans need to approach basically every criticism from Democrats moving forward in regards to J.D. Vance and the things he says about cat ladies that everybody knows is true. But again, people want to clutch their pearls because you're saying things out loud that everybody knows is true. I don't need to explain it. I'm right, right? I'm right. Therefore, I don't need to explain myself, okay? I don't need to explain myself. And if Republicans start to approach things in that way, like, for example, when they call Kamala Harris a DEI hire, I don't need to explain myself. If DEI is a great thing, then make Democrats defend it. But I'm calling Kamala Harris what Joe Biden called her, and that's it. I don't have to explain why I'm doing it. It's not racist. It's not sexist. I don't care what you say. Call it what you want, right? It's the truth. And I don't have to explain the truth. That is how Republicans should push back against the media and the Democrats and their attacks. This is what they should do. This is what they should do. So, I mean, me personally, I really do find it extremely weird how the mainstream liberal media has essentially become an arm of the Democrat Party. I mean, we've known this for years now, but I mean, they're just so overt and blatant about it, where they are quite literally just taking everything the Democrats say and then they're regurgitating it like zombies, right? This is what they're doing. Like, they're so in the bag for Democrats. And it's just so funny how they continue to call themselves journalistic outlets that aren't biased, but yet they're clearly biased as hell in favor of Democrats. And they're trying their best to hide Kamala Harris, to remake her into something that she's not. That I think that's what's really creepy and weird about what's going on here. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.